I really didn't know what to film today. I have a lot of things on my mind and a lot of things that I want to film and talk about in upcoming videos, but we've just been having some personal things happening in our life that has completely derailed the creative process. So I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna go grab the camera, turn it on, and see what happens. I got a lot of comments from my last video about what to do with Appa. So I do have Appa still here right behind me. I'm still figuring it out. I am going to get rid of him. That's definitely what's gonna happen. I got some parts on order for the new girl here, and hopefully here soon I can be getting those installed and really getting prepped and ready for some upcoming road trips. So that's my 2024 Road Glide and my 2018 Road Glide. Now, honestly, a lot of you guys were genuinely curious on why I personally thought it was worth the upgrade. And I'm gonna go ahead and kind of talk about that right now. Okay, I guess I'm just gonna hold you guys. I'm actually sitting on Appa right now, and when I purchased this motorcycle in 2021, I knew that I wanted a touring bike. The number one reason I bought this motorcycle, I preferred fixed fairing motorcycles over fairings that mount to the forks, which is Street Glide versus Road Glide. I did test ride Indian Challengers, I did test ride Goldwings, I test rode Road Kings, I test rode a lot of different touring options, and I just kept coming back to the Harley Davidson Road Glide. It is to this day still my favorite motorcycle. I bought this bike specifically to start touring, traveling the country as we have done. If you guys want to see any of my cross-country trips or travel content, head over to the travel vlogs playlist and have fun checking those out, because Appa and I have done a little over 35,000 miles together in the few short years that I've had him. And I've only been able to ride him probably 5, 6, 7 months out of each year. It's a winters up here, hit or miss. After about 35,000 miles on this bike, I did start feeling, and this is where I'm going to get a little personal, I took my Road Glide and my Royal Enfield Himalayan to Sturgis last year. I attended the Get On ADV Fest at the Buffalo Chip in Sturgis presented by Revzilla, so I had my Himalayan with me so I could go ride some fun dirt roads. I also rode my Road Glide out there separately, so my husband and I trailered 2 bikes, and then I rode separately. Jordan trailered, I rode, essentially. And every time I would want to leave the campground or go do anything in the campground, everything's really far away. So you can walk places, it'll just take you a lot longer. So I would hop on my Himalayan and go ride. And then there were the days where I would want to ride into town or do something, and I was just physically and mentally exhausted with the idea of hopping on my Road Glide, my 900-pound motorcycle, and lugging that thing out of the campground. I've never had that experience before until I had a nice little lightweight dirt bike to ride around on instead. So after having that experience in Sturgis, it just really started weighing on me, like, oh, you're getting kind of tired of the big bike thing. And when you're traveling 80, 90 miles an hour down the highway and you're doing multiple days on the road and going from point A to point B fast, it's great. It does wonderful. But just the day-to-day rips, it was starting to get monotonous. And I was worried that that would always happen to me, but I didn't think it would happen so fast. So by the time I started having those thoughts in my head was right after I test rode the 2023 Harley Davidson Road Glide CVO. That's where you get into this platform motorcycle. The CVO is basically the first iteration of this bike over here, and I already told you guys it was insanely more nimble and lightweight feeling compared to the previous generation. Now the new models, everything except the frame is new. Everything. The frame is the only thing that is the original, which makes it really nice when you're shopping for parts because all of the original bolt-on parts bolt onto the frame. So once again, after test riding that motorcycle, falling in love with it, I got to test ride it again right before I flew out to Las Vegas for the Harley Davidson press ride, and that's where I knew I'd gotten myself into a sticky situation. I didn't think I was going to sell my old Road Glide. as quick as I intend to. This bike behind me had everything I want. I like the new modern fairing. I like everything about it. And if you want to know my honest opinions on the issues that I've had with this bike, I don't even have to make a video. I've had one issue where I couldn't update the software while on the road. The dealership didn't have the plug to update it. And then other than that, my only other issue has just been trying to pair my cardio with the technology. And it's like, no matter what I do, that's going to be an issue. Technology is an issue. It's a blessing and a curse. Since riding the motorcycle and getting used to how to use the tech, I've been fine. It's fine. I don't have any issues. I know a lot of people have been having like major issues with their new bike, and thank God I'm not one of them, because I wouldn't be able to hide it from you guys if I was. I kind of want to show you a couple of the different things on the motorcycles that I like. I have been back home in Ohio for a couple weeks now, and something that I have desperately been needing to do for a very long time, since 2019 actually, is start kicking my bad habits, which is why I'm super excited that I just discovered this product called Fume. Fume is an innovative, award-winning flavored air device. Instead of electronics, Fume is completely natural, and instead of vapor, Fume uses flavored air. There are no harmful chemicals. It uses all natural, delicious flavors. It's a habit you're free to enjoy and makes replacing your bad habit easy. It fills the void in a natural, guilt-free way. Like I said, hand-to-mouth motion, eases cravings. Your Fume comes with an adjustable airflow dial, and it's designed with movable parts and magnets for fidgeting, giving your fingers a lot to do, which is helpful for de-stressing and breaking your bad habit. Base was actually launched in January. It's a weighted stand to rest your Fume on when not in use, and with the magnet inside your Fume, it gives you an easy way to use a fidget spinner when you're not actively doing the hand-to-mouth motion. If you guys would like to give this a try, I highly recommend it. You can head over to tryfume.com/her2wheels, and that'll save you 10% off of your journey pack. That's tryfum.com/her2wheels, or just head over to the website and use code her2wheels to save 10%. Let me know if you guys kick your bad habits this year also. Obviously, you have the different headlights. I really don't need to talk about it. We do have a different aesthetic looking to the fairing, which is fine. The only thing I'm probably not a huge fan of is right here, that little like lip. See how it kind of like goes up? That's probably not my favorite, but from the side, I really love the look of the new bike compared to the old one, and I absolutely loved the old one. I still need to put the Clockworks windshield on here. That's what I run on Appa, and this is actually my second Clockworks, because the first one I hit a huge rock in the middle, and it totally protected my face and everything. It didn't shatter, nothing. So I do have another one that I'm going to put on this bike. As you can see, I have really tall bars. These are 16-inch apes on Appa, and I specifically did that because the saddleman seat that I have goes back kind of far. So I needed some bigger bars to fit comfortably. I do not love these. I think they're gaudy, but they are really nice when you're riding down the road. These are the stock 10-inch mini apes, and as I mentioned, I really don't know if I'm going to change these out ever because they're just kind of perfect. I do have a new saddleman seat on the way, so I'm basically getting this road sofa just in black over here on this bike, and I'm very excited for it. So now we can kind of get into the fairing a little bit. There's just a lot going on this one because of the analog gauges and everything, and this is just sleeker. It's a giant screen. It's kind of hard to see. That did nothing. Anyway, I do love the analog gauges. Everyone asks me if I miss the gauges. Yes, I love having analog gauge. I love seeing all of my little things. But with the new screen, I never have an issue. Everything is crystal clear, and I have an amazing time cycling through and looking at everything I need to look at. The one thing the new bike doesn't have is this. I don't have my key with me, but having an ignition switch is awesome, and I'll flip you around to talk about that. So if any of you guys have a newer model Road Glider, Street Glide, we don't have the ignition switch anymore. So for me personally, when I roll up to a gas pump, I need to refuel, I'll kill the bike with the kill switch, but I'll leave the ignition switch on. So all of the electronics are still running, the motor's just shut off. So I pump up, start the bike back up, and then take off. The new bikes don't have an ignition, so all you do is press kill and it cuts everything. Once again, technology. Every time I turn the bike off, it disconnects from my iPhone, it disconnects from my cardo, it disconnects from everything I was doing. And it automatically reconnects, but just having to stop and reconnect everything is tedious. It's not hard, it's just tedious. And sometimes my phone and my Bluetooth don't want to reconnect, and so I don't have Apple CarPlay. So that honestly is like my biggest gripe about the newer motorcycles. And it actually doesn't even have anything to do with Harley. It has to do with Apple CarPlay. So those are the rules of Apple CarPlay. Oh, and a lot of you guys have talked about the bypass. I've looked into the bypass. Here's my issue with the bypass. In order to use, so hypothetically speaking, let's say I'm on my motorcycle, I'm traveling. I'll have my phone up on like my handlebars, have my phone up here. And since my 2018 is so old, I can't, like, none of the switches work. I can't change music with my switches. The only thing I can do with my handlebars is set my cruise control, basically. I have zero control over the actual music, the phone. This bike does not have Apple CarPlay. It's that old. So I would have my thumb out and I would be able to switch between maps. I can look at road closures. I can look at the weather. I can do all of these things while in transit, not having to pull over on the side of the road and stop and look. I know that sounds bad, but I'm very comfortable and capable of multitasking with something that is like directly in front of me and right in front of the road. This new motorcycle, I do have a phone mount. I can use it if I want to, but with the whole screen, the whole point is to have Apple CarPlay on the screen. So the whole thing with Apple CarPlay, you have to have it connected to a microphone. That's why you have to connect it to a Bluetooth device. It's a rule from Apple, not Harley. Apple, they need to have audible signals, or you need to be able to respond with audible signals through your phone, through the mic. When it gets all messed up and doesn't connect, I can't use Apple CarPlay at all. And then let's say I do the bypass where I just plug in the cardo or whatever, put it in the saddlebag, and then never think of it again. I personally can't use the product how I want to use it. I need to have access to my phone, to my routes, to the weather, to answering text messages in my head. I don't text while I ride, but I can verbally have texts read off to me and I can text back. And when you travel by yourself, it's really important to be able to still have communication. So the bypass is not going to work for how I ride, and it pisses me off because I really want it to. Anyway, I don't know if I explained that properly. But yes, hopefully one day there will be a proper bypass where I can just plug my phone in naturally and have it connect to Apple CarPlay. I don't think that day's gonna come, so I need to just suck it up and get used to it. Those are my road glides. Take you over into where my other babies sleep. That garage is for the bikes that I use every day, and then Jordan's projects. This garage is kind of empty. For everyone wondering, yes, of course I still have Dolly. I absolutely adore this motorcycle, you guys. I love this bike. That'll never change. She's beautiful. She's classic. She's timeless. She's girthy. And she's mine. I love her. Jordan also loves this bike as well because of that little guy right there. That's my reverse gear. Well, that's my reverse switch. Over here, yep, we still have little Toph, my Himalayan. I'm very excited to get this bike out and riding here soon. It's very wet and gross and saturated on some of the back roads here in Ohio, so I'm not comfortable taking this bike out just yet. At least not on the back roads. And then, of course, we have Nox, my Dyna. And I thought Noxy Poo and I were going to have an amazing winter together, but instead I ended up riding a road glide home. Sorry, Nox. So yes, I still have my other motorcycles. Personally, I treat these bikes like different pairs of shoes. You wear different pairs of shoes for different events, and that's how I treat my motorcycles. I truthfully love all of them in their own individual way, and I'm very excited for the weather to finally warm up. It's kind of chilly today. Other than just genuinely being happy to be back home, I have been feeling just really out of it lately. Being home, it feels surreal, and it still feels like my hands are tied because of the unpredictability of the weather. And I hate saying that, but man, when you when you physically damage your body riding in weather that is just insufferable, it has truly turned me into a fair weather rider. Like, I know if it's going to be below 50 degrees, I don't want to ride. I know if it's going to rain, I don't want to ride. I've ridden in the rain. You guys, that is a part of being a motorcyclist. But if I have to physically leave my house in the rain, I don't want to do it. If I get caught in the rain, that's a different story. But if I can choose not to ride in the rain, I'm going to choose not to ride in the rain. Obviously, you saw that section earlier in the video. I am incredibly I feel like I've lost a part of myself. I've talked about this on the channel before. This is getting into a pretty candid conversation. When I started this channel, I was a completely different person, mind, body, and soul. This channel has forever changed my life and made me the happiest version of myself. But the one thing it has really opened my eyes to is my inability to choose the best habits for myself personally. My motivation has just been really low lately, unless I can I don't know. This is where it's going to sound stupid. I know when I think about turning the camera on, I get lazy. I don't know how else to explain it. Like, it's such a stupid feeling because I do make YouTube videos for a living, essentially, and I don't, like, sometimes I enjoy getting the creative juices flowing and just like turning the camera on, having a great time documenting my trip. And then some days, it's days like today where I'm like, okay, you got to get a video out this week. What are you going to talk about? And for me, it's just easier to kind of talk about some of the things I have been talking about and answering your comments that I've been reading. But the grind of trying to keep in the algorithm I'm not even talking about YouTube, believe it or not. Instagram has actually just been slowly killing my creativity and making me not want to post anything. I don't want to take pictures. I don't want to take videos. I don't want to do anything because Instagram is kind of that take everything and give nothing back platform. And I've really just been having more fun posting on Facebook and YouTube. So that's where I'm trying, now that I'm home and I have everything within my control again, I need to get better at making better habits for myself, whether that's being more creative, trying to focus more on things that bring me joy instead of worrying about just making stuff for the internet, basically, which is a catch-22 because that's what I'm doing with this video. Whew, it's bright. Also, getting my health. I don't even want to talk about this again because those of you who have been with me for a while know that I've talked about my health. I'm in my mid-30s now, man. Things are not the same. Like, I can't just go on like a crash diet for a couple weeks or eat low carb for, a few months and just lose all this weight again and be a healthy version of myself. Things don't work the same anymore. So I'm really doing a lot of research into why my body feels the way it does when I eat certain things or when I do certain things, and that is really going down a rabbit hole with y'all, but these are just things that have been honestly on my mind lately, and it's exhausting. So I don't really know what the solution is other than trying to get my mind into a better mindset, and doing that with just insufferable cold and rain and like spring not actually being here like we thought it was going to be. It's hard. So the next couple weeks might be, I don't know what I'm going to do. I want to go camping so bad. I want to pack up my bike and go camping, and it's just been bitterly cold, like in the 30s at night, and everything's still gray and dead. So yeah, please subscribe. See you guys later.